Good afternoon, everybody on YouTube. This is Rick Thomas from Obsolete Video Services. All right, guys, we just got in a customer job today. This is a 3/4 pneumatic machine. This is what you call one of the Cadillac series of this format. Very, very heavy. These are the BVU-850s, and it's part of the BVU series, which was very, very heavy, but built like a brick house. These things are gigantic mechanism functionality machines. They are very heavy units. But what was great about these machines is sort of like the Betacam SPs and other decks is they have removable cards on the upper top. Okay, that was a big plus on a lot of these decks, having removable cards on the top so you can actually service a problem if there's a card problem. But these things were also direct drive driven. What I mean by that is they have their own separate motors that runs the play and fast forward and rewind type of thing. It's not like the later models, which were kind of like garbage. They used a belt pulley with a very small motor that would drag the tape forward and reverse and play. These are direct drives. These decks play a lot of the problematic tapes a lot easier, because it's got a lot of torque to drag them through the machine, where a lot of the other 3/4 pneumatic machines, the cheaper ones at the end, when you had a lot of problematic tapes, they just would stick, jam, would have a hard time trying to drag the tape through the machine. These BVU series had serious torque. They're the preferred machine for serious archives, like the Smithsonian and other places use these. It's a very, very good machine, but a real pain in the ass to work on. If you haven't worked on these machines, trust me, it's a little bit of work to work on one of these machines. Anyways, this deck had a lot of problems. I'm going to talk to the owner on this, and shortly I'm going to give him a call and discuss the issues on this. This isn't a standard repair. There was some serious issues with this deck. But anyways, as you can see, we're in the preliminaries of getting it to play, and it's playing pretty good. Loading and everything else is going to have to be worked on. Had bad loading carriage. This is going to need a good cleaning. This deck is in filthy condition from sitting. All the grease is hard as a rock. Loading is having a real big problem. And of course, I have some parts I have to replace on this I'm going to talk to the owner about. But this is a BVU-850. And it's kind of good, or it's kind of a great timing that I actually got one of these BVU-850s, because I happen to have a junk machine on the floor right here, which I have parts to pull out of this, which I did, which made this particular machine up and running now. Now I got it to the point where it plays. So we're going to take it from there, and after we make all the adjustments, we'll be able to get this thing into full operation. As you can see, we got the thing to play, and in most situations with these decks, after they sit for a long time, you got a mechanism arm in here, which dries out and gets hard as a rock, and they never move, and they get jammed. This is a very, very complex machine, and if they sit for a very long time, you will have a problem trying to load or play these tapes on a machine like this. But, like I said, we're in the preliminaries on this deck. It does need a lot of work. It does have several problems, actually. But I did have an actual parts machine on the floor, which I pulled the actual bad parts that I needed, like a card and some other things that this thing needed really badly. So we're going to actually be able to get this BVU-850 working. This is the stage. Once you get it to this point, you can see it actually works, and it's playing, and the video heads work, and the tracking's good. Once you get it to this particular stage, it's pretty much buttoning up all the mechanisms which really badly need belts and greasing and alignments and all that kind of stuff. This is a very complex machine. But I got it to this point. We got it to load. It had card issues. It had another issue. It had problems from sitting. What happens is they're notorious for capacitors and various things going bad on these cards. And when they do, you're going to find out when you try to turn one of these on cold turkey after they sit for a while. You either end up shorting out a card, or the card won't function and the deck will not load. It might load and you just won't get any video out of it. It's a very complex machine. But we are getting playback out of it. The tracking is really, really good. It's locking up. The meters and everything seem to be working good. The lights are working good. You know, we got a loose panel on this. I'm going to button this down a little tighter. This thing was very dirty from sitting. Took a lot of abuse over the years. Very, very filthy. I mean, these decks, like I said, 3/4 pneumatic machines that put in sheds or wherever these things are stored, when they get really, really dirty, it just adds to the age of the machine and the complexity of servicing the machine, because it's just takes a lot more time and it just a lot more issues. But to get you an idea what I'm talking about. Now here's a BVU-850 I had on the floor for parts. Okay, here's the lid to the one that I had, the top lid. See how clean that is? Gives you an idea. Well, this is the lid to the deck the guy just shipped me. Take a look at this thing. See how dirty it is and how filthy it is? This is called poor storage, dirty storage, or storage in an area where the dirt levels just, you know, they accumulate. And basically what happens, for the worst thing for electronics, when you put these machines where they're in a very, very dirty area or a dirty environment, you can't expect to pull these out and just think you're going to power them up and they're going to work. It's not going to happen. Everything dries out. Everything gets like a rock on these things. The belts need to be changed. The mechanisms have to be re-greased. The alignments have to be redone on these. And this is a spiral loading mechanism. What I mean is it drags the tape around like this on this little geared pulley, okay? What happens is all the mechanisms for the drives on these, the spindles, they all get dried out like a rock and they don't want to move. This loading arm gets dried out like a rock and it doesn't want to move. All the grease gets hard as a rock and the thing just will be stuck in place. So it takes a lot of work to work on these BVU machines. They're way more complex than the other VOs and VPs and all those machines, which were more of a downsized design, much easier design for loading mechanisms, and they weren't as robust as the BVU series such as this. But this is the Cadillac of the 3/4 pneumatic machines, and basically it's got removable cards on the upper tops, and and there's a couple on the bottom. But it's got direct drive motors in it, which makes it the best machines for the 3/4 pneumatic machines, because the direct drive for the harder 3/4 pneumatic tapes that can play through the decks, compared to the slim down ones that they made that had they were just a pulley driven, no torque drive type of machines. Like I said, they were just cheaper models made later after. But BVU series, the BVU-850 and other BVU models are really the best 3/4 pneumatic machines you want to find. Well, anyways, we got this in preliminaries. We know it works now that I fixed some major problems, and we're going to go through all the rest of it and getting it restored, and we'll get this back out to the customer. Hope you enjoyed this video.